The streets of downtown Chicago were loud with the sounds of traffic, honking horns, and people rushing in and out of restaurants during the busy lunch hour. Just outside one of the most popular family-owned diners, a woman stood quietly in the shadows. Her clothes were worn, her face weary, and her eyes hollow from hunger. For hours, she had been watching people sit at the diner's window seats, enjoying steaming plates of burgers, fries, and sandwiches. She pressed her hands against her stomach as it growled. The restaurant manager, a kind-hearted man named David, noticed her from inside. He couldn't bear to see someone suffer like that. He stepped outside with a warm smile and held out a plate of food. "Here," he said, gently placing the food in her hands. Her eyes widened, tears forming instantly. "Thank you. Thank you so much," she whispered, clutching the plate like it was the most precious thing in the world. But before she could take a bite, an older woman who worked as the head server stepped out behind David. "Don't thank him," she said sharply. "Thank my boss. You're lucky he came by today." The beggar didn't argue. She sat on the sidewalk and began eating like she hadn't had a meal in days. Her hands shook as she lifted each bite to her mouth, savoring every morsel. When she finished, she gathered her courage and walked into the diner to approach the man she was told was the owner, the boss, Mr. Robert Anderson. He was a middle-aged man in a neat suit, with kind eyes that carried the weight of responsibility. "Forgive me, sir," she said softly, her voice trembling. "I come from far away. I was robbed at the airport. Everything I had is gone. I'm stuck here with nothing. Please, lend me $500. I'll surely return it and repay you." The old lady server, who had been watching closely, snapped. "Isn't the food enough for you? You shouldn't be asking for more. Go find a real job." The beggar girl's cheeks burned with shame. She lowered her head. But Robert didn't scold her. Instead, he reached into his wallet, pulled out $1,000, and handed it to her. "You don't have to pay me back," he said kindly. Her eyes widened in disbelief. She clutched the money with trembling fingers. "Sir, I owe you my life. I will surely return one day. I promise." She walked away, tears streaming down her face. The old lady muttered under her breath and followed her outside. "I don't trust you. People like you take advantage of kind men like my boss. Here." She scribbled down the restaurant's contact information and shoved it into the girl's hands. "I'll be watching. If you try this scam anywhere else in town, I'll know." The beggar girl looked at her sadly, but said nothing. She simply disappeared into the crowd. Years later, Robert's life took a tragic turn. After a bitter divorce, he lost nearly everything: his assets, his home, and eventually even his restaurant. The once respected businessman now struggled to survive. One afternoon, years later, a luxury car pulled up in front of that same restaurant. Out stepped a well-dressed woman in her early 30s, her confidence radiating with every step. The old lady server, still working there after all those years, quickly bowed. "Welcome, ma'am," she said politely. "What may we offer you today?" The woman tilted her head, smiling warmly. "Don't you recognize me?" The old lady frowned. "It's me," she said softly. "The beggar girl from years ago." The old lady's face drained of color. "I'd like to see your boss," the woman continued. The old lady looked down in shame. We don't know where he is anymore." The woman's face fell. Her smile faded into deep sadness. Without saying another word, she turned and walked back to her car. She drove away, her heart heavy with disappointment. On her way back to her hotel, she stopped at a gas station to refuel. As she waited, a scruffy man pushing a cart full of bottles and cans approached her window. His face was dirty, his clothes tattered, but there was something familiar in his eyes. "Ma'am," he asked softly, "do you have any bottles you don't need?" She froze. Her heart pounded. She rolled down the window slowly and whispered, "Sir, is it you?" The man looked at her, confused. "It's me," she said, tears welling in her eyes. "The dirty beggar you helped 5 years ago." Robert stared at her, his mind struggling to understand. His lips trembled, his body shaking. You came back." She stepped out of the car and took his hands in hers. "I'm so sorry I took too long. But I built my life. I kept my promise. My company is doing well now, and I need someone I can trust to manage it. That person is you." Robert broke down in tears. Years of hardship poured out of him in that single moment. He couldn't believe that the very girl he had once saved was now offering him salvation. The old beggar girl, now a powerful businesswoman, smiled warmly. You gave me a chance when no one else would. Now it's my turn. And for the first time in years, Robert felt hope.